everybody. So this is the last in a three-part series on the compensation plan for Pure Haven. I am Beth Newberry. I'm a Platinum Ambassador with Pure Haven. So I'm going to walk you through the remainder of the comp plan, which is Bronze Ambassador and up. So we started with just sort of the very basic, how you get paid if you only do personal sales. We moved on to the beginning levels of the compensation plan, and now we're going to move on to the upper levels of the compensation plan. So I'm going to share my screen here for you. And we last time were focused on, as I said, let me move over this way here. Last time we focused right on up to this executive ambassador level, and we introduced at the very end the idea of an executive group bonus. One of the amazing things about the Pure Haven compensation plan is that once you get above executive, you actually get paid more on your executives groups than you do on your own. So these numbers are not, I don't want you to think of these numbers in a vacuum. These numbers overlap. So if we go back to my organization and we look at that classic sales report in the last video, I used Trina's May numbers, Trina's downline May numbers as an example. We're going to go back and take a look at that again. So Trina was at 203,000 in downline sales. Trina is an executive, an upper level executive. Based on where she lands any month, she could get paid on a number of levels, but you know, she's at 203,000 in downline sales. Her first level executive is Dee Davidson, and Dee's. So I want you to think of those as overlapping numbers. I personally sponsored Trina, so I get paid 7% on anything Trina does. Trina is an executive. She does not fall into my executive group. So remember how I said last time, you get paid an extra 2% on everybody in your own executive group. I do not get paid 9% on Trina because Trina is an executive. I actually get paid 11% on Trina because I add this 7 to this 4. So those are overlapping numbers because Trina is my level 1, but she is also a separate executive group. Now let's talk a little bit more about how you manage to get paid on those executive groups so we know how that all works. So we talked a little bit last time about executive and how you need that one ambassador leg. You need 10,000 in downline sales, and 6,000, no more than 6,000 of those can come from any given leg. Now, if we scroll on over here to the upper levels, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum and diamond, we're going to focus on. You may recall in my last video, I mentioned that these other levels, national, presidential, and global, are lovely to achieve because we all want the title, but the comp plan does cap out at diamond. So you're getting a really lovely new title, but your payout is remaining the same once you get past diamond. So everybody wants to get themselves to at least diamond to cap out that compensation plan. All right, so how does that work? Let's start at bronze. We've already introduced the idea of the fact that you need 1,000 in personal sales and where you can find that. We've also talked about how to view your ambassador legs. So let me just quickly touch on those again. We're not going to spend too much time because you should have watched the other video that would explain those before you get to this one, hopefully. If not, please go back and watch them. But we're going to go back to May. May qualification sales for me were $1,914. Checked off the box for the 1,000 in personal sales. Then again, to get to bronze, you would need 12,000 in downline sales. We go to that DV includes PS, personal sales for May qualification sales. Yep, got that, checked off that box. Whoops. Then we're going to go to, we want to make sure that we didn't cap out So for me, I would need to make sure, if we go over that May qualification sales again, and we click on view, we need to make sure that no more than $12,000 for bronze comes from my highest leg. We look over here at Jen Barsamian's leg and we see that that has 129,000 in sales in it. So we are good to go with those, that 12,000 cap, right? The next level is silver ambassador. Oh, and when we get to bronze, so going back to that example of Trina and Dee, for me, I get paid 7% initially on Trina, 5% initially on Dee, and these are their personal sales. But then I also get an additional 4% on Trina's entire group down to her next executive in any given leg. Think of legs like a family tree. So think of Trina as my daughter and Jen as my daughter, and Dee would be my granddaughter, Verushka would be my great-granddaughter. So you kind of think of them like a family tree. Trina's leg is her leg. I can only pull one executive or one ambassador from that leg. So I need to keep growing wide to make sure that I am really capitalizing on maxing out that compensation plan. Going back to the payout, 7% on Trina plus the 4%. And then Dee is an executive as well. Now, if I were only paid as bronze ambassador, it would stop just before Dee, and I would only get paid 5% on Dee at the bronze ambassador level. So I'd get paid 11% on Dee, on Trina, 5% on Dee, but not the extra 4% because she is out of Trina's executive group. And when you're looking at these things, these categories on the side, those executive groups are referred to as generations, much like in a family tree, right? So if I were paid as ambassador, and I would be getting paid that 11% on Trina, but Dee is my generation 2, so you can see I wouldn't get paid on her. You can see why it's really important as you start to grow to keep growing wide and keep focusing on ambassadors and executives. Again, you get paid commissionable volume on everything in this section. So you don't get paid on the qualification sales on this. So when you're trying to figure out the numbers, it's 70% of the qualification sales is commissionable volume. So for Trina, I would get paid 11% on 70% of the qualification sales for her. Hope that all makes sense. All right, moving on up. Let's go over here to silver. Silver, same thing, nothing much to explain to you. We're still on, you need 3 ambassador legs, 1,000 in personal sales, 40,000 in downline sales, 24,000 cap on the highest level leg. So that's the 60-40 rule that applies there. If you only had 2 legs and one of them was at 24,000, you just need to make sure that the rest of the team, including your own sales, did that other 16,000 to get paid on that at that level. Actually, you would need 3 ambassador legs, so that's impossible. You actually need 3 legs, at least 3 legs to do that. With bronze, you could do it with 2, but with silver, you need 3 ambassador legs. Typically, people won't have only 3 legs to hit that. They would have more than that because not everybody takes off and escalates that way. So you're not going to build evenly, but if you had perfect duplication, you would only need 3 legs to get to silver ambassador. All right, moving. Oh, and at silver, using that Trina and Dee example, right? We have 4% that I would get paid on Trina's entire group. So I'd get paid 11% on Trina. And then I would get paid 9% on Dee and her entire executive group down to her next executive. But we mentioned Verushka. Verushka would not, I would not get paid on Verushka if I were being paid as silver and her group because that's down here, right? And we're not getting paid there yet. So let's go back up and take a take a look over at gold. All right, so at gold, these executive leg qualifications kick in. So you just need to make sure you have a leg that has an executive in it and 4 legs that have ambassadors, because this is total number of ambassador legs. One of them has to be executive. So this is where we pop on down, and now I'm getting paid on Trina, Dee, and Verushka's entire executive teams. All right, so platinum. Platinum, same exact thing going, you know, you're getting the hang of it now, hopefully. 7 ambassador legs, 2 of them need to be executive. Trina's group can't be any more than 90,000. I would cap out on her leg at 90,000, and I'd have to pull the rest of the 150,000 from the rest of the team. And that goes down for 4 levels. And then diamond ambassador. So if we go back to my May, let's go ahead and click on this overview. And we'll see where we can find these numbers easily, just so you can see them. This has flipped over because it's a new month, but we had 8 in May. I was at paid as in platinum. I had 8 ambassador legs, 2 of them were executives. So if we pop back over to this compensation plan, you'll see from my numbers, you saw that I had over 300,000. I was not capped out. I had the 1,000 in personal sales. I had 8 ambassador legs and 2 executive legs. That's okay. We'll get there. Not worried about it. But that is where you cap out on the compensation plan and where you really want to make sure you're there or above. One quick note that is not on this one pager for the top of the compensation plan. In order to keep a rank above Gold Ambassador going forward, you need to promote out 1 new executive a year, or you need to promote. In order for me to keep my Platinum Ambassador status, I need to make sure that I am promoting an executive, which will also promote me to Diamond, as long as I have those 8 ambassador legs going, once a year. So something for you to be aware of at that top level. Otherwise, you would demote back down to whatever you were paid at that month. So Gold Ambassador, you can't promote higher than Gold Ambassador at that point, because you need to promote another executive out of your organization. And that is a first level executive. Now, first level executive does not mean that they need to be personally sponsored by you. They could be someone that's on your 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th level, but if there's no executive in between you, that is your Gen 1. So I hope that all makes sense. Couple of other reports I want you to be aware of that we did not touch on in the other plan. You'll see right here, rank status. I've asked the home office to take a look at it. It's still not fixed. So I just want you to be aware of it. Follow the qualifications that we already talked about. But actually, let me go to a different one. No, this one will show it. So does consultant achieve personal volume of 300 or more? And, you know, beginning of the month, not quite there yet. No. There's this, does consultant achieve legs active greater than 0? Don't worry about this. This active leg thing does not exist in our compensation plan. So don't worry about it. It's there, but we don't need to worry about it. And does consultant achieve ambassador buy-in items in last 3 months? That is for the people who were business builders. So when they buy the business builder kit, they are going to have a yes there. Now, I just want to quickly touch on one other thing here. You can pull up people to see if they've achieved those ranks. Unfortunately, you can only pull up your level 1 people. So if you have any questions, please reach out to your executive or myself at the end of the month. If you're going, oh, I'm not sure if this person's an ambassador or not because they're way down below, but they would be an ambassador leg for you or an executive leg for you. This is only going to show your personally sponsored people. So it makes it a little bit hard sometimes to do that dig down that you need on the last day of the month. If you want somebody to look at it and make sure you hit it, we can do that. They do update this more frequently end of month. This only updates once a day typically, but at the end of the month, they update it a little more frequently. In terms of you're not going to see this if you're not an executive yet, but in terms of your executives in your organization, if you're trying to see where executives are, to see if you have if you have executive legs or not, and you're trying to glance quickly at where they are for sales, this is a great report. This generations report will populate for you and sort of tell you where people are. And then if you're trying to figure out the math, it will show you where those different generations are for paid as this month. One thing I want to point out at the upper levels that's kind of important, and they haven't really added a report for this yet. So just important for you to know, if you're trying to do the math, I really suggest using the commissions tab, because one of the things that's added in there in those sales is the cost of the kit, or the value of the kit. So that business builder kit is worth $800 in personal sales for the new consultant signing on, and that is showing up in your qualification sales. So last month, let's say everybody that signed on in my organization bought and this isn't true, but let's say it is. I'm going to go back to my calculator for a minute. Let's say everybody who signed on in my organization last month bought that $300 mid-size kit, or the kit that's valued at $300, the mid-size kit, right? So that would be $45,000 in downline sales that's showing up in qualification sales, but that I'm not necessarily getting paid on, or I'm getting paid on throughout the month because I personally sponsored, or somebody that I personally sponsored. So just realize that that number is in there, so you can't sort of do the math and figure out what you're going to get paid on your team for a bonus as you get into the higher levels as easily, because those numbers are going to be in there for the kit sales. So I hope that helped. I hope you understand compensation plan a little bit better. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your upline or myself. We are all here to support you, and we'd love to see you do amazing things with your business. I'm also going to do some videos on the travel and rewards program so that you understand that a little better. It's very similar to the comp plan. That one should take just a couple minutes. And then I'll also do sort of party closing and preferred club and all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, have a great night, everybody, or day, or whatever it is right now when you're watching this. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. Bye.